Yes, said that. Disturbance depends on our efforts, but balance does not depend on anything. When you leave things alone, they become balanced by themselves. A pond only ripples when something disturbs. On its own, it is placid. So we cannot create balance. Neither can we create samadhi, he said. We meditate and samadhi comes on its own. What is samadhi? How do we get into samadhi?
Meditating.
What happens in meditation?
After we cross a certain threshold of focus on the infinite object, we get into
When the
the
depth at which we are meditating crosses a particular threshold, we gradually slip into samadhi. That is what is called as samadhi. Okay? So, you will be asked these questions. That's why I'm reminding it again and again. The difference between meditation and samadhi, without meditation, there is no samadhi. So when we go into meditation, we go into a deeper level and then we cross a certain threshold. Then we go into samadhi. We meditate and samadhi comes on its own. It is what remains after everything else has settled down. This is meditation. This is the definition. Effortless focus upon an infinite object. So this is the definition of meditation. If somebody were to ask you definition, this is the definition. Effortless focus on an infinite object. With a limited object, your awareness is limited. Many people recite mantras, for instance, but by repeating a single word over and over again, they only straitjacket their mind. They confine their awareness to the narrow perimeter of the word that they are repeating. Please underline this. What happens in mantra repetition? They confine their awareness to the narrow perimeter of the word that they are reciting. Focusing on a limited idea, your awareness becomes single pointed. We talked about it in concentration. When your awareness is single pointed, you miss out on everything except for that single point. But you are like a horse wearing blinders in that you see the object in front and nothing else. Your awareness is confined. So this is one of the things that happens with the mantra japa or many other things. When you do the mantra japa, you actually confine the awareness to a narrow sphere. So what these things do is that they actually enhance your concentration, but they will not enhance your or enlarge your awareness, expand your awareness. That does not happen. So when we meditate on a limited object, our awareness narrows. When we meditate on an infinite object, our awareness expands. This is the fundamental thing. Okay? So what happens when your object is unlimited? With an unlimited object, your exclusive awareness encompasses the limitless totality of existence. Everything is included in such an awareness. Nothing can escape it. But does this mean that you are simultaneously aware of every person in the world, every dog and cow, or every particle in the universe? No. So what now he's clearing the idea regarding what does it mean awareness expansion means. The awareness we gain in meditation is not an awareness of the diversity in its various forms. Rather, it is of oneness. It is an awareness of the whole, of the totality. If the whole has any quality, it is being, it is pure existence and pure presence. So these things unwind from the point, the awareness we gain till the end. The awareness that we gain in meditation is not awareness of the diversity in its various forms. Rather, it is of oneness or totality or the whole. If the whole has any quality, it is being, pure existence, and pure presence. Does it make sense? Many people have this confusion. They think that Expansion of the awareness means that something happening in the other part of the world, I will become aware of it. This is what they talk about. Of course, that can come about, but the basis of that is not expansion in this direction, expansion in the feeling of the presence of the whole. That is the basis. In the presence of the whole, everything is included. In that context, you might specifically become aware of something. But it's not like where people think that I've got extra special power or siddhi, that I know what happens in different parts of the world. Knowing about it in the context of a siddhi is different. Knowing about it in the context of samadhi is different. In the context of samadhi, you become aware of the whole. On the basis of that, you might also become aware of the specific. But the awareness of the whole is the basis. But in siddhi, the awareness of the whole is not there. It is just in that particular context, you might know a particular thing happening. That's exactly how astrology predicts possibility. They don't have the feeling of wholeness. A real astrologer is actually a spiritual person. And their prediction will have the basis of wholeness. But majority of the astrologers that you see nowadays are not spiritual people. They are there, they do a particular thing in a particular way. It's a probabilistic science. It's not an accurate science. It's a probabilistic science. The more experience you get, the more accurate you become. That is based on experience. But the science itself is probabilistic. Okay? But that is not how spirituality is. Spirituality is very accurate. So, if once you become aware of the whole, you can become aware of a particular thing, provided the divinity wants it for you for its work. Not otherwise. Knowing that about a particular thing happening in one part of the world, if it's relevant for your work, you will become aware of it immediately. The divinity brings your attention onto that. You got the point? So there's a big difference in the way that these two things operate. So a person who can actually look at something happening in another part of the world might not necessarily have the spiritual basis for it, but they might still get a siddhi. There are a lot of people in the past who used to be called as Trikala Darshigalu. One who could see across three different realms of time, the past, the present, and the future. They were called as Trikala Darshigalu. Now, the Trikala Darshigalu had many different things as a basis for their Trikala Darshan. In English, we call it as clairvoyance. So they have that special power of kind of being able to peep into the future. Sometimes they might also have the power to peep into the past also. So the point is, if you are spiritually aware, your awareness is universal or whole. Based on the universal of the whole, based on the need of the work of the divinity itself will bring your attention to one part of it. Like in driving, you are aware of everything. But suddenly you become attentive to one thing. Somebody is coming fast on the opposite side. You become attentive to that. But you are aware of everything. So in the context of being aware of everything, you will also pay attention to one aspect. That's exactly how it is as far as spirituality is concerned. Okay. So we are also a part of that, I said. Yes, said Daji. You cannot be separate from it. It is not as if you stand upon some mountain top gazing down at the infinite. Rather, you become it. Your situation now recalls the old pronouncement, Tattvam Asi, thou art that, and it is the truth. You see that, but you will not realize this. Tattvam Asi means thou art that. You are that. But the point is, you will not be able to realize this because you are part of the universe. You are not separate from the universe. So in other words, to be able to feel part of the whole, we need to let go of the idea of the separateness. That is what we do. Why not? I asked. Because in the infinite, you have melted away, said Daji. You are no longer there. If you are no longer there, who will perceive the truth? Now the knower dissolves in the knowing, the drop merging into the ocean. Daji passed. This is not the end. No, it is only a beginning. This is what is supposed to happen in every session of meditation, where the individual starts melting away into the universal. So, in other words, when we say we lose part of ourselves and gain part of the divinity, what we are doing is we are losing part of our individual self, we are gaining part of the universal self. That is what we are doing in every session of meditation. Okay. Now, what exactly happens when we grow infinitely? Our presence will be felt everywhere. That feeling the presence becomes more and more accurate and more clearer to everyone. The feeling the presence. So it's the expansion in the presence that you feel as you grow in spirituality. Any questions on this before we go to attitude? Ganesh?
No, I'm good.
Bharat?
No.
Sudha sister? Gopala Krishna?
Comfortable.
Shall we go then? Next. So I hope that
we
you
are
got the clarity of trying to predict the future based on a siddhi versus being spiritual. The fundamental basis is different. Okay. Attitude. One afternoon, I meditated alone with Daji. Afternoon, he remarked, meditation isn't everything. What do you mean? I asked. Spiritual practice is important, he said. Without it, transformation is only a dream. Yet, even the most effective meditation method, combined with the most disciplined approach, can only take us 5% of the way. And what about the 95%? I said. Attitude, said Daji. What we do is important, he said, but it's not as important as the attitude with which we do it. This does not only apply to meditation. With only activity, it is our attitude that defines it. Our attitude that determines its success. Please underline this. With any activity, it's our attitude that defines it and our attitude that determines its success. If you meditate in a negative mode, it is counterproductive. Underline this. That's why if somebody is stressed or depressed or anxious, they should not meditate. So if somebody is in a negative state, meditation actually is counterproductive. So you cannot meditate in all states of mind. If you're not feeling good at the level of the mind, don't meditate. It's all right. Okay? Now see, this sentence is here. If you meditate in a negative mood, it is counterproductive. Very few people pay attention to it. The advice that anybody can meditate in any state at any time. It's not like that. Your negativity becomes the, what he is now explaining, your negativity becomes the object of your meditation, you see. Your eyes may be closed, you may look as if you are in meditation, but in actuality, you are just brooding over the negative thoughts and feelings. So some of us have the experience in the recent past. When you meditate in the negative state, you're just going to increase that negativity, that's all. So on the days when you are feeling negative, it is better to skip the meditation. No need to meditate on that day. Okay? That becomes your focus. And what happens if you meditate on your bad mood? It only intensifies, I said. The purpose of meditation is to enter into the finest state of consciousness, he continued. Do you think that that will be possible if you bring heaviness, discord, and torments along with you? See, heaviness, discord, and torments are grosser states, heavier states. So by bringing those things into meditation, how can you go into the finer states of consciousness? You cannot go. What to do then? That is when you have to take the sittings from the preceptors. So recently, Gopal Krishna had mentioned about his negative thoughts, brooding and all. When he came for the sitting, you know what we did? Is part of your perceptor work. I'm just telling you. You only clean the person. On that day, don't give transmission. They will feel better. Okay? When an abhyasi comes to you with negativity, lot of discord, lot of torment in their mind, you just clean them. Don't give transmission. You will see that within a matter of few minutes to few hours, they'll settle down. Okay? Now, these are all the things that you have a capacity as a perceptor to do, decide what to be done, what not to be done. Not every sitting will be the same. You have to keep changing depending on the state in which the abhyasi has come. So the perceptor work is also dynamic work. Got the point? So we have to leave them all behind. Such things weigh us down like lead, but they are easily removed with the cleaning method. So that's what I'm saying. So when you have discord, when you have torment, when you have heaviness, all that you do is just clean it. And wait for things to settle down. Wait for the naturality come back. Then when the naturality come back, then you can transmit after that. Got the point? There are also other attitudes that hinder us in subtler ways. Expectation is one of them. So negative attitude is of no use in meditation. So we should avoid it. Second one is expectation. You see, many approach meditation with the expectation of a certain result. Suppose suppose that one day we had a phenomenal experience in meditation. The next time you meditate, you want to relive the experience. In doing so, you apply a condition to your meditation. I must feel peaceful today. Something better might be waiting for you, yet you only want peace, so you miss out. So no two sessions of meditation will be the same. So how do you approach meditation? You approach the meditation with the curiosity of a young child. A young child plays the same game day in and day out. But every time it is excited to play the game. It is curious to play the game, to just see what will be the outcome today. It might have lost every day, but that does not make it any different for the child. Come, let us play the game. The child is not bothered by the loss that it had over the last 1 month. Till on the 31st day, it will still say, come, let us play the game with excitement and curiosity. And that is how our approach to meditation should be. We should be curious and have a sense of wonder when we approach meditation. We should not have the expectation that meditation will be like this or like that. You just need to see, okay, let me sit in meditation and let me see what unfolds. That's all should be your approach. Okay? And don't carry the baggage of the last meditation experience into this. Oh, last meditation was like this, so this meditation will be like this. Don't carry that baggage. Each session is different. Okay? Suppose you are learning a car, and in the previous learning session, you went and banged against something. Now you come to the next lesson. In the next lesson, you carry the baggage of, oh, last lesson I banged. What if I bang again? Now that is only going to interfere with your learning. Okay? What happened last time is okay. Leave it. Let me see how best I can learn this time around. That should be our approach. Okay? This shows how even the best experience can become traps. Because we become attached to that experience. This is nice. I want to be here only. This is the basis for spiritual stagnation and avaduta sthiti. This is the basis. Oh, I like the condition here. I want to be here only. That's why having that zeal to go towards the goal is very, very important. Having that zeal towards to go to the goal prevents us from these kinds of traps. We have a tendency to get stuck to our experience. Rather, we should always be willing to go beyond, to go further. Even at the high stage where bliss finally dawns, you must keep moving. Otherwise, your desire to remain in that state of bliss holds you back. You like it so much that you want to repeat it again and again, you don't want to transcend it. Be assured that whatever you may experience, there is always something beyond it. Remember, our journey is from the realm of experience to the realm of experienceless experience. If you don't let go of the experience only, how will you ever reach experienceless experience? Are you getting the point? Central region is the realm of experienceless experience. If you want to go into the central region, you have to learn to let go of the experience, however good it might be, however subtle it might be. Only then you can enter into the central region. Does it make sense? So from the first point up to the 13th point, we are all going through different experiences, although subtlety changes. But when we enter into the central region, we enter into the realm of experienceless experience. So now, if we don't have the approach or attitude of letting go of experience, how will we ever enter into the central region? Because you are seeking experience, nature will keep you here only, between the first to 12 points. Since you are seeking experience, you can have more experience. Okay? We should also avoid the opposite extremes, which is impatience for the next stage to occur. We need not be in any rush to keep moving. This attitude also holds us back. So allow things to unfold as it is. Don't be in a rush. Don't have any expectation. I guess it's a very fine line between getting stuck on an experience and being in a hurry. I said, no, not at all, said Daji. It's a simple thing. Just let the process unfold naturally with total openness. Don't place any conditions on it. Don't insist on anything, but don't demand anything. Meditation is best when we have no expectations, not even for the meditative experience. Now underline this. You can get a googly in the exam. We have no expectations, not even for meditative experience. True or false? What will people write? They'll say it is false. What's the point of meditation if you don't want meditative experience? That's the question they'll ask. What Daji means is that it has to unfold naturally. That is all it is. If something happens, fine. If you have no experience, it's also okay. Really, meditation is a form of waiting. Not impatiently, as if you are pacing up and down or back and forth, waiting for the bus. It's a relaxed kind of waiting. So meditation is relaxed waiting. That's all it is. You are at ease, you are comfortable. It does no good to be impatient. You see, everything happens in its own time. For example, you cannot cut open a butterfly's cocoon before it's fully matured. That would kill the butterfly. Similarly, we cannot expect spiritual states to bloom before their time. They will come. So two attitudes which should not be there. One, expectation. Second one is impatience. Remember that. Okay. So they can ask you a question. What are the two attitudes that you talk about? It should not be there. So expectations and secondly, impatience. Sometimes we have unpleasant experience. Let's say, what then? Many things happen in meditation, said Daji, but every experience is ultimately good because each experience has a purpose. Now underline this. Each experience has a purpose, even if we don't understand what it is. We need not understand it either. Our understanding is not necessary for us to keep moving. Underline this also. Our understanding is not necessary for us to keep moving. You just take your experience lightly and move on. Most of us do not understand the intricacies of the spiritual journey. Even if we have a vague idea of the destination, we still don't know all the stages that come along the way. Stages are innumerable. Sometimes the road appears to go backward, sometimes there is no road. Yet we are moving forward in our journey through consciousness. So experiences can be deceptive. For example, We previously spoke about samadhi, deep meditation. Yes, said Rajiv. But not every meditation ends in samadhi. Some days there will be no depth at all. Some days our meditation experience is too mundane for our liking. Then we worry that something has gone wrong. This shows our unfamiliarity with the path. In many cases, there is a good reason for the uncomfortable meditation. We go through periods of discomfort from time to time. The biggest reason is that we have taken a quantum leap in our journey. We have taken a big step forward. Such inner transformation has taken place, and we have to get used to our new state. So, underline this, that we have to go through periods of discomfort from time to time. So there are some sessions of meditation where you feel lot of depth. There are some sessions where you feel you are superficial. There are some sessions where you feel nothing happens. You don't know. And sometimes the sensitivity is not there. Yesterday, after the session, one of the preceptor said that I did not feel anything during the meditation. But after I opened my eyes at the end of the meditation, I feel so light as if my body itself is not there. Now look at it. During the meditation, they did not pick up anything. But after the meditation, they said, this kind of lightness I have never felt in my entire life. Can you see? But during the meditation itself, they could not pick up anything. But immediately after the meditation, they could pick up. Now, this is what is called as a dimensional shift of lightness. We can feel lightness every other session in meditation. Lightness is an indication of the spiritual work. But there are some sessions where you feel so light that you have never experienced that level of the lightness. The quality of the lightness is so deep. It is of a totally different dimension. So with this we call as a dimensional shift of lightness. And it occurs at 3 different points. Now that is not relevant for you as of now. We will discuss some other time. A dimensional shift of lightness. It is unmissable. Once you experience it, no, the first thing that you will say is, I have never experienced so much lightness in my life. This is the first thing that you will say. Nobody can miss it. Now, you might not pick it up during meditation, but definitely after the meditation, you will pick it up. Okay? Now, when the body consciousness is almost kind of gone, you feel a dimensional shift of lightness. And the second level is when we have traversed through some aspect of the mind region, some parts of the mind region, we feel that even thought is heavy. That's how light we are. A single thought is like very heavy. I'm carrying a big baggage. And what you are carrying is only one single thought. That is the lightness. That's the next level of lightness. Again, there is a dimensional shift of lightness. Okay? So as we grow in subtlety, we actually feel lighter and lighter. And there are some specific points where the lightness just magnifies. It's like there's a small spark, suddenly a big fire engulfs. Something like that. Okay? Okay. So shall I stop here? We'll go to the question and answer. 38 we have stopped. So any questions? Ganesh, you wanted to ask a question yesterday and day for yesterday. You had messaged me.
Yeah. So one is related to today's. Here, I'm audible. Okay. One is related to that cleaning part which you mentioned just now. When we have a negative thing, you said you should not meditate at the time and wait for. There are two questions. One is for individual and one is for the Abhyasi. As an individual, when I sit for a cleaning, right? But at the time also, you mentioned that we should not remember that and just sit for cleaning and proceed. will that be an effective method, or do we need to wait for a preceptor and take another sitting and come back?
When you are in a negative state of mind, generally you will feel negative only when the negativity has crossed a certain threshold. You will feel negative all the time. And that cannot be cleaned just by your own cleaning. So the best thing to do is take one extra sitting from the preceptor. And at that time, if you are very sensitive Abhyas, you can say, I want only cleaning. Now, there are many times where you are not able to tell the difficulties that you have to the preceptor. What to do then? The preceptor will not know. Then they might also transmit. So when you are passing through a difficult phase, just say that I just require one cleaning session. Because you know your state internally much better than the preceptor. What is happening? Something might be happening in the interpersonal relationship. It might be happening in the office. It might be happening elsewhere. Who knows? And not everything we can reveal to the preceptor, no? So on those days, if you're not confident or comfortable talking about those issues, why that negativity is coming through, just request, I just require one section of cleaning. That's okay. In fact, I want every Abhyasi to develop this sensitivity to be able to go to the preceptor and say, this is what I require. I just require that one session of cleaning. You should be able to say that. Right? Many times when you are not feeling so well, no, do you think that you will eat everything that is given to you? You will be very selective, no? I will only eat this, I will not eat this. You become automatically selective, no? Exactly the same thing here. So when the negativity has crossed certain threshold where you are aware of it all the time, it is no longer within the realm of your own cleaning. It's gone beyond that. You can do your cleaning, but what you will see as an experience is that it will not create much clearing of those negativities. You might feel better, say, for a few minutes or few hours. After that, again, it comes back. Best thing is take a sitting, extra sitting. Okay?
And also, like Daji also mentioned, whenever one is observation that I have a negative, that is one important aspect I should know. Whenever I feel that this is a negative aspect, then and there you can clean. That also he has mentioned.
That is if you know what is the trigger.
Okay.
See, you go to a hotel, some ketchup falls on your shirt. Immediately you know the trigger. Then you go and wash. Now, if you don't see the ketchup, then what are you going to do? Even otherwise, the clothes that we wear becomes too dirty. Now, we are not even aware how it becomes dirty. But it does become dirty. So, what are we going to do? That is for that reason that you do individual cleaning every day. Where the dirtiness accumulates without being seen, without being aware. When we can see and we are aware that this is the reason for the dirtiness, we can wash it off immediately. Of course, it will not be washed fully, but at least to a certain extent, you can decrease the impact of it. There again, for example, I just tell you, you had an argument with somebody. Okay. Now you sit for cleaning. Now, if you sit with the thought, let this argument and the effect of the argument be cleaned, it will never be cleaned. You sit there, just do the normal cleaning. Even in an emergency, you just do the normal cleaning. You don't try to clear the incident which created the emergency cleaning necessary. You got the point? So a lot of people have confusion about it. They have an argument, they sit with the cleaning in the thought, with the thought that let this argument and the effect of the arguments be cleaned away. That is never going to happen. You should do normal cleaning for 3 to 5 minutes. That's all. Not focusing on that particular incident which triggered the emergency cleaning. Got the point? So this is very, very important.
Second question was like if an Abhyasi does not have observation and still is disturbed and he doesn't come and tell the preceptor, so at the time, do you normally do the cleaning first and then transmit?
Always all sessions with the preceptor, cleaning is done. most of the time. Transmission is only given a small period of time. But the perceptor is also sensitive. That's why you have to develop sensitivity as a perceptor to see what is the state of the Abhyasi who is coming to you. If you feel that their state is disturbed for whatever reason, don't transmit. We do that automatically. If we see that somebody is disturbed, we don't transmit. On that particular day, it's okay.
But but sometimes it can be an assumption also, right? That
Nothing
he is
will happen. Nothing will happen. Even if on an assumption they don't transmit, you're not going to lose much. So don't worry about it. Because you have other places where you get transmission. Suppose you went for a sitting on Saturday and they felt that there is some disturbance. They did not transmit. They cleaned you. Now they have prepared your heart for Sunday satsanga. You will go to satsanga, you get the transmission. So you don't need to worry. Transmission will find its way to you once you are ready. You don't need to seek it. It will come to you automatically. Like the air is coming to you automatically. Are you seeking the air? The oxygen in the air? No, it is coming to you automatically. Likewise, the transmission will come in search of you, not to worry. So even if 1 or 2 sessions the transmission is withheld, the Abhyasi is not going to be, what to say, in any kind of disadvantage, so to say. In fact, every time the cleaning is done of Abhyasi's heart, they are made ready for the satsang and bandaras. So if the transmission is not given there, you will observe more transmission during the satsang once your state of mind is ready. The perceptor's job is to make sure that they take the mind and the heart together. I told you that day. You have to take heart and mind together. That is the job of the perceptor. So if the mind is not working for some reason in the right way, withhold the transmission. Okay? And don't feel that you have done a disservice to the Abhyasi by withholding the transmission. Nothing like that. Master finds his way of working and reaching out to the Abhyasi. He has much more visibility than the perceptor has or the Abhyasi has, right? So not to worry about it. Okay? Sorry.